All right, friends, it's T and I'm back with another video on Jason Blaha Strength and Fitness. You know, the fitness diet slave, whatever, the fitness gym slave. Let's review this video. He says, high quality sets versus adding more training volume. Okay, I just did a bit of this video, but it got bumped, so I'm going to have to do it again. Yeah, this is interesting. Okay.
Alright, when it comes to gaining muscle, high quality sets are probably better than pushing more volume. And when I say that, I want to be clear, I'm not...
High quality sets, he does the same stuff day in and day out. He's adapted. There's no more adaptations. Do you understand me? There's no more adaptations. He's just wasting his time. Do you know what that means, no more adaptations, man? Do you know what that means? There's no more adaptations. He's adapted to whatever he's doing here. These man-made weights, he's adapted. What's an adaptation? How do you get it? How do you get more adaptations? By doing things that you're unaccustomed to. How do you get adapted to something? By being accustomed to it. That's how.
Telling people that they need to do things like super slow negatives. I'm not telling them to do forced reps and drop sets or any of that.
None of these things are going to work for natural people. The reason why you get an adaptation when you do a sport, whatever it's ice skating, swimming or something, you get an adaptation there. What? Muscle damage. And then you've got your adapt. That's how your body adapts to the swimming, to the ice skating. It no longer needs to get this damage because now you're good at ice skating and whatever. You weren't as strong, as good. You're kind of shaky in the beginning when you first did it. But your body got these damages and then it strengthened it. Now it's muscularly stronger. So you'll be muscularly stronger at ice skating faster, cruising, whatever the fuck you're doing there. And even in swimming, you're going to be muscularly stronger at swimming and better. Yes, because you got an adaptation now. It's resilient from getting busted a second time. So when people go to the gym, they're going there for cosmetic purposes. Look, if you're going to the gym for a cosmetic purpose, man, you need to really you need to wake up, man, and smell the coffee. You need to look in the mirror and ask yourself this question: why are you going there? A natural person is never going to get that cosmetic look like people on steroids. You understand me? If you're looking at steroid people and they're taking these drugs, that's cosmetic. And so if you're trying to become like that natural, you're wasting your time. You never are. You may come close. There'll be a look there, something, but you'll never look like that, a steroid dude, ever, naturally. It's impossible because he took cosmetics to create a cosmetic look. So if that's your goal, then you should be doing that if that's what you truly want. See what I mean? If you truly want the most strength that you can, might as well just take a steroids. You'll pop the most strength that you can. See what I mean? You'll push or lift the most strength. I don't know. It's all relative. But if you want to be muscularly stronger, specific things, I don't know. Getting muscle damage is difficult. Growing more muscle, being adapted to the same stuff in the gym, being adapted and trying to get more adaptations out of that is really, really difficult. That's why I say the only way to get it is through muscle damage. The only way to get those adaptations is through muscle damage. Now, if you want to get sarcoplasmic hypertrophy for cosmetic purposes, just to look big and intimidating, walking around, yeah, eat a lot of glycogen, man, and boom, you'll get those phony muscles. But like I said, man, it's all relative, bro. It's all relative.
I'm saying that that's the case. When I am talking about high quality sets, I'm talking about taking exercises through a reasonable range of motion, right? With reason.
If Blaha could actually afford really good steroids, he probably would look better if he could afford them. But he can't afford anything. He can't afford anything. He can't even afford good steroids, nothing, not even TRT. He can't afford good food, nothing. The only thing he spent his money on was these weights and stuff that he has in this garage. Yeah, I guess money well spent, eh? He's got that going for him. A bunch of weights he bought. Jesus.
Form. It doesn't always have to be strict. Some exercises actually do extremely well with loose form. Perfect example, these Yates rows you see me doing here, and again, you guys see my back.
Yates rows? Oh man, for more phony, phony crazy people, drug addicts told you something called Yates row.
Element, right? Notice on these rows as I'm doing them. Yes, I use a small amount of leg drive there.
I love how he throws the weight up in the air. Just like he throw it like Olympic lifters, throwing it in the air.
But it's not that much. And notice that I get a stretch at the bottom. Okay, same thing on those.
You get a stretch at the bottom. You don't get a. You're not really getting a stretch because he's just kind of dropping the weight. You get more of a stretch if you were to do this reverse, laying your back on the floor and doing a pull down with a cable machine. When you pull it down towards you, you can actually pull more weight towards you. But when you release it, there's the tension there, so you're going to get the muscle damage. The fibers are going to get more of a lengthening effect because now the force is pulling against you. You understand me? Not pulling away from you. It's pulling against you. I don't know how to explain this. It's complicated. In other words, he's dropping the weight, and with a cable machine, the force is pulling you in the opposite direction. It's pulling you, and you're trying to stop yourself. Okay, let me put it this way. In running, if you're running down a hill, not up a hill, remember, down a hill, it's a stopping motion. Your body is going to want to try to stop you from running down the hill. There's a lot of tension on your legs. So what's going to happen when you wake up the next day? You're going to have DOMS. You have muscle damage. You've damaged the muscle fibers. That stopping motion, there's a pull and a stretch on the myofibrillar, causing it to micro damage. That's how you get micro damages. So you get micro damages running down a hill. There's a stopping motion. Okay, so when you're using a cable machine in the opposite direction, doing this like a pull down, let's try to visualize this. You laying on your back on the floor, pulling the cable machine with the weight on it in the opposite direction. He's standing up, pulling it up, you pulling it down and then releasing it. Now, is there more tension on the eccentric going back up? Yes. The lengthening effect, there's going to be more stretch. And there's a kind of a stopping motion as it's pulling you. You're not really allowing it to pull you so fast. You're kind of holding on to it. There's tension there. There's tension on the way down and there's tension on the way up. There's a lot more tension. He's just throwing it up in the air and just releasing it, kind of dropping it. It's like nothing going on there.
Pull-ups and stuff. Notice that my scapula gets spread at the bottom. We're putting everything
That's
in the
That's why they say in NCBI, it even tells you, it says the lengthening part of the eccentric partial. Now that lengthening can be slow or fast, and it'll still damage the muscle fiber. Why is that? Because it's a stopping motion. If you move slowly, if you're moving slowly on the eccentric, it's a stopping motion. If it's a stopping motion, regardless whether you're moving fast, if you're still moving slow with a heavy weight, it's a kind of a stopping motion. It'll cause the micro tears in it. It'll cause it.
Good position. Same thing with the benching here. So again, this is what I mean by set quality. And then notice that these sets are all challenging.
But it won't happen if you're adapted like this fish.
I'm not leaving a lot of reps in the tank. Every one of these sets, when you look at them, there is probably no more than 1 rep in reserve. Some of them, you can tell that I didn't have any, or even hit failure. Okay, the benching, notice what I do on the benching. Got good control. We're not trying to do really slow negatives here, but it's a wide grip to where we put the pecs in a stretch, flat back, very soft touch on the chest, right? Maintaining good control. Wrist.
Yes, very good control, yes.
Stacked. And again, this is after usually doing a training max, so that was like a 12 rep set. But you should feel the weight get pretty heavy on something like that on the last rep. Now, obviously, things like bench.
You should be, you should work to your way to the last rep, this and that. Why? You're adapted. What's the point? What's the point?
I don't recommend going to failure. I don't recommend you grind reps out because honestly, in my experience, that's where you see the shoulder injuries on bench pressing. You need quality, challenging sets. But because I maintained control.
He never ever tells you to do negatives and stuff like that. Just do all this positive work. No negatives at all, or partial eccentrics, or negative eccentrics, or anything like that. He's just all into the concentric movements. That's why he looks the way he does, like dog shit. He looks like dog shit. It's all dog shit. Everything here. There's no muscular strength there. It's just a tiny little body. It looks like the Eggman sitting up there.
Oh, very
Humpty Dumpty.
soft touch of the chest. You can either pause or a soft touch and go. The pecs are kept at an extreme amount of tension at the bottom. Okay, you are keeping a lot of tension on the pectoral.
A lot of tension on the pectoral. You want to know how to keep a lot of tension on the pectoral? They have these machines, the cable machines, right? So they have a metal bar. You can hook up from one end to the other, a straight bar. You can hook it up from one end to the other. Okay. It's got links on each end of it. Okay. Now, let's say you bend your body forward, and now you bench press in the opposite direction. So you push down on it, and now it's pulling you up. It's gonna pull, the weight is gonna pull you back up again. Do you not think that you will not get a very good stretch there in the pectoral area if that weight is pulling you back up? You're pushing it down and then it's pulling you back up. There's a lot of tension there. Tension going on the way down, tension going on the way up. So it's a very strict form. There's a lot more going on there. Yeah. Do you not think that you getting damaged a lot doing that type of thing, eventually the stack will probably get light? You probably will go like, well, I have to graduate to something else. Okay, they have these foot press, bench press type of machines. You can use that and put it on the last stack. Start with the negatives. When you get good at it, eventually you'll see that you could do the concentric and the eccentric easily. So much easier. I find that the more negatives I do, the concentrics become really easy to do. I don't know why that is, but it just is. It's science, they tell you that. But I just find it's true. The more eccentric work I do, the more I find the concentric is a lot easier to do because it's more strict. I told you it's a stopping motion. There are micro tears, there's a bunch of stuff going on there.
Without cheating or bouncing through the hardest part of the range of motion, which is where it touches the chest. Okay, but notice we didn't grind. You know, we got close to failure. Some of these others, like the leg extensions, I hit failure on this. Right, I just go until when I go to try to do a rep, it just won't move. Right, you can do that with curls, you can do that with laterals. Right, it's just easier on different exercises. Yeah. Some movements you can do this more than others. But that's what I mean by set quality. Okay, these are all hard sets. Not one of these exercises had more than about one rep in reserve. Some of them hit failure. Just ones you watch me do. I just threw five training clips in here from some of my workout this week from a couple of workouts. This is what I'm talking about with set quality. Okay? It doesn't have to always be what you think of as beautiful form with really slow negatives. In fact, I would make the case that
it should be with slow negatives so you can get the damage part and get stronger too. You need negatives.
The data shows too slow negatives actually can reduce muscle growth.
No, it doesn't. That data doesn't show that. He's lying. What are you talking about? Everybody knows that eccentric exercises are superior to concentric. Here's another thing. He wants to convince you. He's been watching my videos. He wants to convince you that the concentric movements are superior to eccentric. You understand me? So you don't do them. Yeah. I told you, everything here is to recruit lifting slaves. If he could get you away from muscle damage and get you to do all this like fucking concentric work, then he's done his job. You understand me? He doesn't want you to do any of that because he doesn't want you to progress. You see, don't do that. Don't do any of that. That's associated with no muscle growth. Okay, what's associated with muscle growth? Concentric. And where do you build it? Oh, you build it in a gym. Really? Weights build muscles? Yeah, they build muscles. You never heard that before? Oh, I thought that food builds muscles though. No. Food doesn't build muscles. Weights and concentric exercises, they build muscles. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sure, I'm on board.
And because people, they focus on it. They're like, well, you know, we're stronger on eccentric reps, so therefore more focus. No. You end up losing concentric focus if you're not careful. Like I see guys.
See, you're going to be stronger on the eccentric movements. He even admitted. But he said, no. You're going to lose focus on the concentric. You must do the concentric and fail.
Who will go so slow on the negatives that it allows them to skip the bottom, right?
What?
Whereas you notice with those pull-ups, I'm
What? Skip the bottom? What are you talking about?
going into my stretch at the bottom, right? Those lengthened positions are
Okay, you see these pull-ups? Well, you could just literally stand up on a box and just keep doing the negatives. Do as many negatives as you can on that, and I guarantee you, you're going to become super strong at doing it like complete. I'm not joking, man.
A lot in terms of muscle growth. If we go off of research, those lengthened positions are more important than the contraction.
I can show you a channel where a guy did negatives, just negatives, and he got super strong. Yeah. Doing a whole bunch of stuff. Negative push-ups, negative this, negative that.
I'm not saying no one should ever squeeze or contract on an exercise. What I'm saying is the data shows that stretch is more important than exercise. What I'm saying is the data shows that stretch is more important than the contraction.
Yeah, if stretch is more important than the contraction, then that is associated with eccentric exercise. It's the
to 12 really high quality sets a week, for most people will net 90% or more of all possible muscle growth you're going to get. Not saying some other stuff can't clean that.
He's making that up. You can't estimate that. You don't know what anybody's going to get. Maybe some people aren't going to get jack shit because they're adapted. I don't know.
Last bit, but this is really where you're going to see the bulk of the results. Okay, this is where you're going to see the bulk of it. And so just adding
even what you're eating, you're adapted to your food. You're adapted. Your body's adapted to eating 3 meals a day or 4 meals. It's not adapted. Eventually, if you go to a buffet, how do you get new adaptations? By stretching the stomach. You consume more food, the stomach stretches. You consume more, it stretches again. You're able to take in more food, and you're able to take in more growth at the same time. These are adaptations. It's called anabolic growth state. If you've never tried stretching your stomach by eating a lot of food, constantly going down to the buffet or something, just pounding down food, then you'll never know what it's like to get big and strong. You'll always be small and weak.
Sets is not the solution. Trying to add intensity techniques is not always the solution. Again, I'm not saying both of these things do not have their place for some advanced lifters or very advanced bodybuilders, advanced strength athletes, but for the majority of you out there, that's not where your focus needs to be. It needs to be set quality. Are you training hard? Are you getting to the deep fibers in the muscles you are trying to work? Are those muscles getting stretched?
Is his getting stretched? Is his getting the deep muscle fiber? Is his coach doing that? No. He's got a lot of fat on his back. His back is fatty.
They being trained to a fairly high level of fatigue on a set.
He has no cuts or nothing on his back. It's fat. They're fat.
For set basis. If it takes...
I like how he turns his body, certain positions and everything, because he goes like this, then like that. He's trying to impress you as much as possible with a very mediocre physique. It's tears shit, and it's on TRT. It makes it even worse. I don't know who's worse, Ryan Russo on fucking steroids that looks like shit, or Coach Blaha and his fucking stupid TRT that looks even worse. I don't know, man.
Do 5 sets before you start to feel any fatigue in those muscles. Okay, it's time to really look at what you're doing with the quality of your individual sets.
What is he talking about? Just go to the gym, man, damage your muscles, and then regrow them. Who cares what you look like in a gym? People don't see what you're lifting. They only see the finished product when you're walking around in the street. You big, strong, and jacked, bro.
Hey, that is really where you need to put your focus and look, because that's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to grow.
That's where you're going to grow. That's where you're going to grow, man.
The least amount of gym time. And again, I'm not telling people to do the intensity techniques. I don't think that those actually work unless you are upping the dose, bro. And I've done videos explaining why that is. And it has to do with muscle fiber recruitment and intermediate versus higher threshold fibers.
Muscle fiber recruitment and threshold fiber, this, that, boo. He made that shit up.
But again, just train hard with high quality sets. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that.
Guys, train hard with high quality sets. Okay.
Today, I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Oh, that was painful to watch. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about that. Helps with the algorithm. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friends.